Welcome back to the Dynasty Grind. My name's Peter Howdat, Pierre Howdy on Twitter. This is a live show where we talk about fantasy football every Wednesday from 9:30 till close when I feel like being here. Like, I know we have a new host of the last 2 weeks and he's better, but I'm back, okay? So, like, deal with it or something. Let's talk Dynasty. I've got no idea what's going on, so I hope Zach or Russ has an idea. Hey guys, how you doing?
Not bad.
What happened this week? I have no idea.
I unfortunately know what happened.
You're the one.
It's not great, guys. It's not great. You might just like take this week off and just pretend it never happened.
How could it not be great? Joe Flacco is back in the NFL scoring points. That's a good day.
Trevor Lawrence had to limp so Joe Flacco could walk.
Yeah. I heard Trevor Siemian started as well. It's getting bad. It's getting bad out there, kids.
Well, don't worry, because it's going to be Brett Ripien next week.
It's going to be Zach Wilson, I read somewhere.
Zach Wilson is reluctant to start.
They tried Tim, they tried Trevor, I guess.
That was an actual article. I don't know if I didn't read it to see if it was like horribly misquoted, which I really have to believe it was.
Yeah.
But that was the words that were put in a headline.
My.
Well, I mean, I'd be reluctant to start too.
Well, the Jets have ruined his career. Why should they ruin his life behind that horrible offensive line? Like if the kid would have had a chance at another team, like they are destroying, like they're pulling a Trey Lance, like just making sure this kid never gets a job again. Or worthwhile, I guess.
This week we're at Bailey Zappi versus Mitch Trubisky.
Yes.
Mayfield versus Desmond Ridder. This is probably the best matchup, but no, I guess Stafford and Lamar is pretty good. Gardner Minshew versus Jake Browning. CJ Beathard versus Flacco. Bryce Young and Jameis Winston. And then you got Stroud just handing it to Zach Wilson. Like, we're in the lightning round here.
I think, the NFL's been trying to extend the season for a little while. Maybe they should shrink it. Like 10 weeks is enough. It's enough. It's just, maybe that's enough. We do have questions, though. And I seem to remember we do something with those.
I think we need to have an entire show just dedicated to appreciating Bo Pons, who is literally the first comment every single week.
I know. It was early, too. Like, he's in the chat. What time was this?
4:30.
4:30. God damn. I wasn't here at 4:30.
Appreciate you.
12 teams in flex PPR, half point tight end premium. Start 10. He's 10-3. Missed getting a bye week. There for the week anyway. Don't worry about it. And need to win starters. Najee, Breece Hall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Puka, TJ Hawkinson, Deontay, on by Terry Bajom, Brian Robinson. I think he's injured as well. Ramondre, Trevor Lawrence, and Pop. Nice. Question 1. With Trevor Lawrence likely out, I need to start 2 QBs. Luckily, I have been stashing pick 2. Baker, Minshew, Flacco, Browning, CJ Beathard. I think Baker's locked in with that lineup. I just can't decide whether to go, I really want to start Joe Flacco, or Minshew.
The answer is Minshew. So the insanity is, I don't know if you guys actually saw what happened to Trevor Lawrence. His leg was bending the wrong way before someone stepped on his ankle. It was one of those, he slammed his helmet. I think we really need to check in on the cart driver who just didn't show up. We have to make sure he's okay. Because they made him walk off. He had people, like he was holding on to 2 other people, but like, why didn't the cart come out? Like it was, but
that sounds like a cart type day.
Yeah, it looked like things were bad. Like it looked like things were torn but they're saying it's just a high ankle sprain and that he's week to week. And Peterson came out and said he's not even officially out for this week. And I literally started yelling. I'm like, you let that man rest. You do not break him. I get it. You're in the playoff hunt. Winning the division is nice, but you'll still make you're still going to get a wild card if you keep winning. So just don't. What do you want? Let T-Law sit one game or lose him for the rest of the season? I mean, it's just let the man rest. But I'll start Baker and Minshew out of these.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Beathard against Cleveland is not.
No,
that's not the answer. And then I mean, Browning had a good game,
but Minshew legit had a good game.
Yeah. So I think you're probably right. I don't do the sit start chart like Peter does. He has his sit starts, so that may be the once everything loads up. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I hate the idea of starting Mayfield. But he's been the best
on a lot of teams.
I would say he's been the best one out of that group.
Minshew has a higher ceiling. Baker has a higher floor than Minshew does. No. But I don't. Sorry, my daughter just. Oh. My daughter just asked to download an app called Mom Life Simulator. I mean, I'm going to prove it and see how traumatized she gets. Maybe she'll have a better appreciation for what the hell we go through.
I was like, that doesn't sound like fun at all.
No. But, and speaking of needing Peter and his spreadsheet for who to start, I greatly apologize to anyone I gave start-sit advice last week if you horribly lost.
I don't, because I didn't give any, but I wouldn't anyway. I was right. Reality was wrong. No, it's Minshew and Baker. I don't know. Joe might be fun, but that's where I'm at.
Oh, the one thing, like, Bo, this is not start Flacco, but like the one interesting thing about Flacco is that Jacksonville has given up the second most QB1 games out of any team playing this week defensively. So. I mean, that is the Ryan McDowell thing. I always like to have Ryan McDowell's fantasy football flow chart pulled up when I'm looking at who I'm going to stop. I use it myself, so
I don't trust that.
Joe's playing for Cleveland these days, right?
Yeah.
Jacksonville's given up 28% more than the league average in fantasy points for the quarterback position. In fact, Joe's got a pretty good rest of season schedule as well. The average for the next for his final few games is 6.7 over average.
Yeah, Joe,
it's not the team average; it's the league average. But
Flacco will always be fine.
Yeah.
No, wait, go back.
No. Need one flex. Thoughts on Ty Chandler? Not many.
No.
Only other real option: Harrison Bryant and KJ Osborne.
That sucks.
No. Yeah.
Look, you are.
I think that sums it up, honestly.
Like, of course, and not like KJ Osborne has done anything lately anyway, but you're getting KJ Osborne the week Justin Jefferson comes back. Like that's extra less. Put in Ty Chandler and hope Madison just really sucks, so they play Chandler a little bit. Like, I don't even. Can you trade? Is there there has to be something on the if these are on your team, then there can't be much on the wire.
This is why trade deadlines suck. No,
you're not wrong.
Well, it's one of the many reasons. I think let's see. Goddamn. PFF stands alone saying to start KJ Osborne, but consensus is to start Chandler.
Yeah,
the three.
That's exactly what I mean, KJ Osborne is probably the best player of the three of these, but the answer is probably Ty Chandler because he's the only one here that might spike and get a lucky touchdown.
Yeah. And you're playing for upside. That's the way don't think about your floor, to be honest with you. With that kind of flex, you're just hoping to catch a touchdown. And hopefully not that one rushing touchdown Chris Godwin managed last week, but an actual receiving touchdown would be nice. 7 points from a rushing touchdown. What's that about? Just as fresh. Hi, trades. I made 1 QB, 12 teams, start 9 PPR, sent Zach Moss and a late 24 second for Kamara. Sounds excellent. I'm assuming they're not winning and they're going to try and sell Moss to someone else. He should do better than he did last week to close out the season, but I'd rather have Kamara either way. Yeah.
I just sent Charbonnet for Kamara in a league. So being able to send Zach Moss at a late second feels like an absolute win.
Yeah. Easy one. Thank you. Same league. Sent Mark Andrews, Jonathan Taylor, and a late 24 first for Gibbs and Smith.
Oh, that is such a win.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Andrews, but it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
But like, and you've Gibbs and Devonta are just so good. Jonathan Taylor is gonna. His value is in the tank.
There's also a Gibbs window now. Montgomery's back and the splits back in fashion, and that's going to keep up. But
you're not going to get the 30-point Gibbs you got when Montgomery was out, but you're still going to get a decent. You shouldn't. That's not what you should expect out of Gibbs. You get thankful when you get it, but.
No, but that's what I mean. He's going to be good with that upside, and most of the time just top 24 for a long time. He's one of the few young running backs. That's why I like it. It's like people are a little down now the splits back, but it shouldn't be. I think you're right. I'll shut up. Okay.
No, that's a nice. I like it.
And Devontae Smith on top is nice too. Slonsaurus, need to start 2 of these QBs: Stroud, Russ, Dobbs, Carr. Minus 1,000%. Okay. Leaning first 2, but the Jets D and weather has me concerned. Also have Nico and debating playing Lockett over him based on above. Okay, so first up, Tyler Lockett or Nico Collins. Oh, that's actually tough. I think it's
probably say Nico Lockett at this point.
But yeah, I think Nico's just been doing better. Even his down weeks are pretty good.
No, you can't sit Nico with Tank Dell out, which is another reason this week was the effing worst.
That's not why. But I think it's Nico Collins. As for quarterbacks, I mean, I don't mess around with quarterbacks streaming too much. You need a John Hogue for that. So I'd probably just start Stroud and Russ.
Without even thinking, the answer is Stroud.
Yeah, I don't fret over that one too much.
Carr,
I'm not losing because I started Derek Carr. Like, that's my bottom line. I'm not losing this league because I started Derek Carr. It's not happening. Is my internet crappy still? Oh, okay.
No, you're good.
No, you look good.
Well, he always looks good, but
okay. Thanks, Losaurus. All these questions came in before we did. It's always kind of spooky. 1.5 tight end premium. DJ Moore or Kincaid?
Oh, trade wise, Kincaid.
Yeah.
The next comment says trade. In a premium, the answer is Kincaid, just because he's young and it's a premium league. Honestly, I would rather have DJ Moore on my team. I'm talking myself into being very into DJ Moore for like 2 reasons that who knows what's going to happen, because either one, the Bears draft Caleb Williams, in which case Caleb Williams is throwing the ball to DJ Moore, and that's just great. Or they hopefully trade back. Maybe they trade back 3-4 spots and get Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you have Marvin Harrison Jr. across from DJ Moore, and that just sounds awesome. But like regardless, I think the offense gets better for DJ Moore, and DJ Moore is doing really well with Fields, or he'll get Caleb Williams, who is better than Fields. So like I like DJ Moore, but like if you can get a stud tight end, the young, and a premium, you just do it.
Well, and I think that's the thing is points wise, assuming now, and this is a big assumption, that Buffalo is fully confident in Kincaid and they don't add another tight end and relegate him back to like half duty again.
Yeah, waiting for Dawson Knox to come back.
Yeah, like that could happen, but in this world, let's assume that doesn't happen. You're getting a pretty similar production out of DJ Moore, Kincaid, maybe a little bit more out of Moore, but whatever. Tight end is a tougher position to find that premium player. Plus, you've got younger. Like, I think the value is on the Kincaid side, and you're not losing out too much on the points side with that 1.5 point premium.
I think DJ Moore's still probably going earlier. I'll shut up.
I'll be really quick. Right now, on a 0.75 premium, Kincaid is scoring 14 points per game, and that's on the complete season. So, like, a lot of that he was barely playing. DJ Moore 17. So if we were to try, and again, I can't do it here because it's a lot of work. If you were to just take the games where DJ Moore played with Justin Fields, and then just take the Kincaid games where he played without Dawson Knox and put them together, it might be a very different picture. But on the season, DJ Moore is outscoring him. But still, I think the value is Kincaid. Sorry, go ahead.
I have him at like 10.3. That's interesting. I have to look into that. I think it's still DJ Moore. Here's why: if it's Sam Laporta, this is too cheap for Laporta. Kincaid, he's more in the Hawkinson category for me. He's good enough. I like the idea that it's value because he's young, but DJ Moore's like, what, 27, 26, 27? 6. So I got 3 years of DJ Moore. I'm still pretty comfortable with a top 24 wide receiver over a tight end, mainly because tight ends trade hard. Unless they're Sam Laporta, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, you have to wait till they're having that run like he is right now. So it feels like he's the one exploiting the window. I think it's fairly even, and I get just taking the younger player because you're more building by the sound of it. But I don't know. I think that's a pretty good trade for DJ Moore too. It's fairly even. There's not a lot to separate it out for me.
I mean, this is a DLF trade show, so I guess we should probably like pimp out some DLF stuff.
Probably.
The trade analyzer does have Kincaid worth more, and it's by like an early second.
Yeah. Well, I disagree. Fine.
In which case, I don't think there's a downside to this. So, like, if you want the positional advantage and you believe Kincaid will keep doing this, Kincaid is the very easy answer. If you want just an insanely solid wide receiver who may have the chance to put up 2-3 touchdowns a game once or twice a year, you stick with DJ Moore. I think this is an absolutely fine trade regardless.
Yeah.
You succeed.
I try. Correct. Don't worry about start sit advice. Sorry, I got something on my screen. I lost to the 4th high scorer of the season.
Last week, I scored the 3rd highest score in that week in the league. Played the person who scored the most.
Variance kills.
Probably kicks me out of the playoffs. Yeah.
Fantasy football is stupid. Sometimes you just look at your results and you're like, this is just stupid. This stupid. I think I had, in one of my better leagues, I had like my 3rd highest score of the season, and I got my butt handed to me by a guy who hasn't finished in the top 5 the last 4 or 5 weeks. And he finished with the highest score of the season. Yeah, 282 points on that guy this week. And he's now 2nd place because of it. God damn. Fantasy football is stupid. It's just chance. We're just making it up. I didn't say that. Bill Ponds last week was trade deadline. That sucks. Of course, the same as injury starting quick. It also just gives most teams nothing to do. Like they're going to check out. I don't know.
Like if you want to ever give an argument against having a trade deadline, you talk about week 13s like this. Like, oh man, this was rough.
Yeah, right. Am I in the right place? Is this a show Russ gives away stuff? Yeah, sorry, let me just
Well, hey everybody, we have a Jamar Chase Funko Pop over here. Actually, this one's spoken for already. I can't give that away. But I have like 4 more, if that helps. Because Bob has a buying problem.
Could we turn this into an unboxing channel? When you pulled that out, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be one of those videos. This is awesome. I like those videos."
I can't get a good angle on it from over here, but that entire top shelf, there's probably about like maybe 30 Funkos piled on top of there. Like,
we could do so many unboxings.
I bought 6 of them.
Content right there.
I bought like 6 of them, and then Bob's like, "I have some coming to your house," and they were like 2 effing crates. Like,
nice. We are here in the past, present, and future. Good to know, Flowsaurus. Thank you very much. Super just brought Eckler to help in the playoffs. Thoughts? It's either him, DeVito, or Addison. I just want Addison. And Eckler's really good for a winning team right now. He's got a good matchup this week, and actually his schedule to close out the season looks really good. He's been, let's not forget, he was injured with a high ankle sprain, and that's why some of the on-field performance isn't there. But I think he may come in clutch, especially if he can heal up a little bit. I think it's a really good.
I saw like on a YouTube somewhere, like it was just someone made a meme of it. Someone there was a picture of the Chargers kicker celebrating, and someone put like it was really unnecessary to run up the score with that second field goal.
Oh, yeah.
Trade addict scoring. You are not in the playoffs. What is better? What is a better offer? A late first for Goddard and a mid second for Kelsey. Which is the best offer? A late first for Goddard or a mid second for Kelsey? Am I reading that right?
I don't know.
A late first or Goddard and a second for Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
A late first for Kelsey.
Reading.
I know I'm not literate. Don't worry about
it. But the thing is, Zach's not literate and neither is Bob, so they can get each other very well.
So you're not in the playoffs, so I'm assuming you're receiving this offer because only people in the playoffs should really be hunting Kelsey right now, right?
Well,
generally.
Hold on. I need to. What league? Oh, I don't have any good players in that league, so he's not talking about me.
It depends. I think the first.
Would you rather have? I would rather just have Kelsey. Like,
yeah.
I don't care if I'm not in the playoffs. If you want to give me Goddard and a first, I would probably take that over Kelsey if I'm rebuilding. Because, look, I want Kelsey. Kelsey's the tight end one for me. I don't care that he's on a little bit of an streak lately. Mahomes had literally his statistical worst game ever last game.
Yeah, it's bad.
And it was
Isaiah Pacheco. That's pretty good.
But like to me, Kelsey is still, especially in 0.75 premium, should be worth more than a late first. He'll be done when he wants to be done. Goddard in a second isn't terrible. I don't feel great about it. If you were telling me it was the 201, I might feel differently. But
yeah. I think that's the right answer. Neither of these is enough. If you just want to trade Kelsey, that's a different thing. But I think you hold their feet to the fire, you keep Kelsey. I'm interested, though, which do you think is the better side if it wasn't Kelsey? Which would you rather have? A late first or Goddard in a mid-second? Like, which is the better trade?
I'd rather have Goddard in the second. If I had to choose between those two things,
My order is Kelsey, Goddard second, late first.
Yeah. And Bob, I'm having this same issue where I've got a team, although I'm going to make the playoffs, I'm going to back my way into the playoffs with I love
many points. That's what happens.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that setting in your leagues, Russ, where the playoffs are not completely determined by record. There is most points of the teams that aren't in on record that gets into the playoffs. And I love that setting because that kind of takes some of the variance of exactly what you and Bo were talking about, where if you run into a team that is just a buzzsaw in a particular week,
right,
that kind of mitigates that. But I'm having this issue, Bob, where I've got Kelsey. I don't have a great team, but I can't get what I want for Kelsey. And so I'm just kind of hanging with him.
I wish I had something to trade away of value to rebuilding teams in that league so bad. But like my team, like I am screwed in like a year and a half because my team is going to age out real fast. But at least and I don't have any picks, but at least I'll have won the league like 2 or 3 times. I won last year, and I'm in first place right now.
I think it's where the rubber meets the road on Dynasty's age fixation. There are just some players I'm going to draw a line under and say, I am not going to value them like an aging player. It's Calvin Ridley. It's Christian. Well, right now it's Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce. I'm not going to give you that much of an injury discount. Even if my team sucks and I'm going to start them on a losing team next year, I'm probably going to keep them no matter what. They're just too rare. Even when they, I got caught with this on on Antonio Brown. I got caught with this Calvin Ridley. I'll probably get caught out on Christian McCaffrey, and Travis Kelce. But there are just certain players that once they cross a line, I'm not going to take something less because they're old. I'm not going to do that easily a lot of times, but certainly that level of player, those true difference makers, it's just no. No, you need to let your league mates know. If you get one of those on your roster, they're always going to have to pay for them, I think. And I think that's fair, too. They're just too different. They're too different. Jay Wake, 237. Full PPR, pick 2. Lockett, JSN, Elijah Moore, and Warren. Starts it or trade is different. I'm guessing this is.
I would love to see what the hype would be on JSN if he got that touchdown. The dude had 11 targets, 6 catches, and if you added a couple of extra yards and a touchdown to that game, everyone would be like, "It's here, baby, it's here." Which I'm a little glad they're not, because I'm going to try and trade for 1 or 2 before the weekends. But I'm already now team JSN over Lockett. I think it's happening now as opposed to after the season, and I'm ready for it. I think my second answer is Warren, even though he's not getting as much work as he did with Canada as the OC, but he's still really fast. He's the better receiving back, and he's chance for a touchdown.
The really interesting thing about, and this is hard to fix my face to say that there's an interesting thing about Mitch Trubisky, but traditionally Trubisky throws the ball to
poorly
to running backs. He's a fairly adept check down quarterback,
which is surprising because
which to me that's just another yes, Jalen Warren, JSN, that's where I would go.
It's Warren and Lockett for me. I want it to be JSN. He's had back-to-back weeks where he's actually getting red zone touches. This is the first time he's ever done that. And it's also notable, he's been running over 30 routes forever, but his route share is now on par with both DK and Lockett. And notably, neither of them have lost route share. It's, again, not vacated. He's just earning his own role on the team. I wrote it up this week. I really got to be stricter with myself with the excuses I make for my college profile and rookie ranks, but we kind of did expect it to be slow with JSN. Zach was constantly on it, and my only point was he does have to do it, though. And since week 6, he's kind of been doing it. The route share's there, the opportunity's there. He's finally getting red zone touches, and both of them are still on the field. So, yeah, it's looking in Dynasty. JSN is more interesting for sure, but this week it's Warren and Lockett for me. But JSN's gonna catch one of those red zone touches. He's gonna catch the touchdown, to Russ's point, one of these weeks. He's gonna go off. I just, I don't mess with that. Let's just start it all the way for me. As far as the redraft element, Toronto Dave, party hat guy. Appreciate you, Dave. Nice to see you.
That's how I feel anytime I hear the name Toronto Dave.
Absolutely.
There you go. Gavin Ferguson, 12-team Superflex PPR start 10, first seed. Give CMC, get Monty and Olave.
Why would you give CMC if you're the first seed?
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Maybe he's trying to have his cake and eat it. He can start Montgomery to get baseline, and he also has this young wide receiver. Dynasty. I keep it simple.
Don't get cute. Don't get cute. Just ride CMC into the championship. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
it
you
could
might
work
get mad
out.
that you don't have Olave
But-
once the season ends, but you'll wipe your tears with the money that you won. And honestly, like, if Derek Carr comes back, then you're just Olave isn't what he can be anyway. Like, I'm so ready to see what Jameis can do for Olave, like for a full few games, because it will just make everyone realize just how good Olave can be.
He's been pretty good with Winston, with whoever he's had at QB. I don't think that way, but yeah, it's just again the CMC is above that line for me. Like I'm not playing funny with it. I'm just going to keep CMC till he rots. If I wasn't competitive, I'd probably take the Olave side. That's to be fair. Like if you weren't in the playoffs, would you accept that?
Oh, I would sell CMC for Olave. I wouldn't want Monty, but like theoretically, yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I just want to start CMC while I'm trying to win this week. Smoking ASMR. Oh, sorry. Unboxing. Just need some food from the mukbang trifecta.
I tell you what, I will. Yeah, I can hook you up. We could have the trifecta.
I'll try not to smoke into the microphone, I guess. I'm not there. Justin, please help. 12 team, 1 QB. I have a first round buy. Do I trade Lamar for Dak?
Yes.
Oh,
Lamar for Dak. No, sorry. I heard the word first and Dak. No, don't trade Lamar and Dak for Dak.
Trying to make
I get it. Dak is scoring really, really well, but Lamar is worth more. Lamar is still really, really good. Like, if you want to get Dak, find a different way. Or get something out back.
Yeah.
No, same tier in Dynasty for me, but or at least the same upside for me. But Lamar Jackson's just going to have a different value this offseason. No, even this week they're like back-to-back projected. I probably just stick with Lamar at this point and just never listen to anything John Hogue ever says about Lamar Jackson. You're fine. No one else gets that, but we have an arm running. We don't talk about it with each other, but he hates him and I like him. So yeah, there you go. No, just keep Lamar. Keep it simple. The Cowboys are going to keep scoring though, like they should have been doing earlier this season. The touchdowns finally caught up. Gavin Ferguson, 12 teams who flex start 10. Give contending get Zeke plus mid third. Contending second get Zeke plus mid third.
Why? Oh, because Ramondre got hurt.
Oh, yeah. But I don't. I mean, that's not an. I mean, I don't. That's fine. I don't mind that trade. You're giving up a late second, getting a mid third, getting a running back. Like you're getting a potential flex running back for nothing. Like I don't hate that.
It's just not the trade I'd go and get.
Yeah, acquiring Zeke is not high on the list of priorities.
Like I'd rather try and get Jerome Ford, to be honest with you, or any of these this week, next week kind of guys, just to round out the season for a second, because I'm a little more sure of their floor, and all of them have the same value in this offseason. So the fact that Zeke and Ramondre just got hurt didn't influence me, but yeah, it's fine. It's just not exactly the trade I'd hunt. Yeah, Russ, you got a preference? Winning team? Do you do that?
I'm with you. There's got to be someone better, but also what Zach said. The trade's not bad, but
the trade's not bad.
It doesn't make me feel better about my team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's it. You really want, if you're gonna do something that makes you honestly feel like you're definitely improving.
I mean, but when you can buy into a high-powered offense like the Patriots, who scored 2 weeks ago.
I mean, only 2 weeks ago. It's really not that long ago. So, yeah, when you can buy into a Bailey Zappi-led offense, you just do it. Josh M. Hey, guys, 12 teams who flex tight end premium, I think. Went from worst to last. Worst. I suck at this. Went from worst last year to second best this year. That's awesome. And have Dak, Pat, I see you. Evans, DK, Debo, Addison, Laporta, and McBride. I swear to God, every league I look at, in the top 3 of every single league, there's a team entirely built around the 2023 class. Like, it's literally made them one of the best. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I've got it. One of my teams that's actually competitive this year. It's just because this class really bolstered up the edges, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I only have Gibbs at running back. Should I add another running back for the player front? Yeah, you should be trying to add running backs. You're competitive. You've got a good team. You got youth. You got value. Just try and win. And running backs would be what I was looking at. Like, you definitely don't even need wide receivers anyway, or tight ends, and your quarterback's solid. So yeah, look to add not so much depth, but as startable running back too, and then tear him up. I'm always trying to get to CMC, essentially. Like, I'd rather have CMC and someone than 2 mid-level backs, to be honest with you, 2 Gibbs level backs for the playoffs. But that's the way you don't have to play it that way, but that's kind of the way I think. But running back should be the position you're addressing. And McBride, I gotta say, that's not. I would love to take a victory lap on McBride, but I was humming and hawing about it all the way to start the first 6 weeks or so, saying, is he improving? Is he not? He seems to be flagging on the opportunity. And I loved him in his rookie profile, but yeah, that's been a big win for anyone who is still holding.
I was holding McBride still.
Really, because I couldn't get rid of him, though. That's what I mean. Like, I didn't focus holding him, or I could have had a lot of him. You know.
What's even funny was I missed out on the second game because he scores one. He does that first game, and you're like, oh, awesome, McBride hit. He has the second game, and I'm just like, oh, I feel like I have him somewhere, and he was on a couple of my taxi squads. I'm like, oh,
I've got to have him somewhere. I left it so much.
I didn't see him there. Crap. Yeah, I had a bunch of McBride, but also if you don't have a trade deadline, don't do anything. There's no reason to go spend capital if you don't need it. If you only need to start one running back, and these are a lot of ifs, I don't know what your league is like, but if you only need to start one running back and you don't have a trade deadline, just roll with Gibbs until you can't. Like don't waste anything because you might need it somewhere else. But if you do have a deadline or if you need to start another running back, then yeah, you'll want to find someone else. But again, I wouldn't spend a lot. I would try and find the Jerome Fords, or if you can get Zeke for a third or something like that. Like, but I don't think I would spend up at running back if I needed to, just because everyone's getting hurt. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the one of the running backs that I would attack and again, this is league dependent, but if James Conner is on a team that's non-competitive, you should be able to get him for reasonable, because he doesn't have any value at the end of the season. He has no value.
He has no value now, but it was they fed him for his revenge game. I am not ready,
but it doesn't like you're not expecting him to be a running back one, but like he's going to score points. The offense is better with Kyler back. Like that's
but
thing.
Michael Carter's there, so he's I liked him so much. Nope, and now let's talk about Michael Carter. I completely blanked on whatever else I was gonna say. Oh well, that was fun.
All right.
If you can spend 2 seconds for Kyren Williams. So, like, I've seen multiple trades of 2 seconds for Kyren Williams, and that is silly because that dude is a workhorse. So, if you can pull something like that is the most I would do as my second running back. But I don't. Honestly, I'd probably send a late first for him too. But like, I'm not going to get. Season? Go. Sorry.
No, sorry. You were saying it better anyway.
No, I was pretty much just reiterating my point succinctly, but I said it all already, so I don't need to say it again.
Sorry. I was going to say, if I was going to create an order of running backs to go target to try and win right now, it would probably be Christian McCaffrey, because obviously Austin Eckler, and then Kyren Williams. Like, I'd trade a first for any of them, and obviously the first two you're not getting for a first very easily. And Kyren Williams, I would easily throw my late first out to get Kyren Williams to try and win. Like, that would be fine by me. What I was going to ask you, just a straight Dynasty question, is who are your top 5 Dynasty tight ends right now? Because I feel like there's been a lot of great young players. It's almost like it's a breakout tight end year, like someone may have expected. And like I think even Trey McBride and I think even Jake Ferguson make a case to be significantly higher ranked this offseason. So I was wondering if you guys have put any thought into it.
I mean, Kelsey is still my 1. Andrews is still my 2. Hawkinson is making the case for it. Like at this point, he is in that elite tier. Like he made that push finally, which makes me pretty happy. I'm starting to push Kittle down a little bit just because he's not being consistent and the young guys are being consistent. Though I do still believe Kittle has the higher ceiling than anyone else, besides Kelsey. But once you hit those 3, I'm at this point putting Laporta above Goddard and those kind of guys. So, and at that point, when you hit 5, I'd be willing to listen to pretty much anyone, Kincaid, or if you at this point, there's no reason not to just put McBride there. There's no reason this is fake. Kyler has always used the tight end. McBride came in with a very good profile. They liked Ertz. They really, really did, to the point where he got hurt and they put him right back in, but then he got hurt again and they're like, all right, McBride's here now. So that shows that the team was ready to move on to McBride. So there's a lot of people I'd be willing to talk to at 5. But I also know a lot of people are just like, get the old guys out. Laporta 1, Kincaid 2. Like I've been seeing a lot of that conversation.
It's really tempting, but I just can't do it at tight end. I think it's Kelsey, Andrews, then Laporta. 3rd feels too low, but I can't put anyone above Kelsey or Andrews. Then Kittle. And then, like I say, it's probably got to be Hawkinson, but I really want to put McBride there. He actually just falls outside the top 5, but like I really want to be high on that. Yeah, tight ends are weird. This late the career year 2 breakout for McBride feels tight end normal.
We're not used to there being good ones.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Yeah, there's like a really solid tier 2 of tight end right now.
Yeah.
I feel like there was this offseason too. It's just we've got so many great. I think Laporta's jumped into tier 1. That's the main difference. Like I would put him with Andrews and Kelsey pretty comfortably. But yeah,
I'm not always willing to do that year 1, even though again there's no reason to think this is fake. Like,
yeah.
But I won't argue anyone doing it, and it's hard not to do it because again we don't have it's not like wide receiver where there's 20 very, very, very good wide receivers.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't really even have a choice after a while that you have to put Laporta pretty close to top 5, if not in your top 5 already. So it's really dealer's choice, which is awesome at tight end.
I still have Muth top 5, Muth top 12, obviously, and then you got Ingram, got it. Jake Ferguson makes a case to be in there as well, but I'm not doing the next 5. I think it's really interesting. Thanks. Gavin Ferguson, Burrow or deserved 24-101 Superflex.
Burrow is still worth more than the 101. The dude is missing 8 games. He's a 26-year-old stud quarterback. I get it. He was having an off season because he was hurt, and then one of his wide receivers was hurt. But still, he is a stud quarterback who's missing a couple of games. There's no reason to lower his value whatsoever. Yes, Caleb Williams will probably come in and be a top 10 quarterback, but it should be after Burrow.
If he comes in and he's a top 10 quarterback next year, he's immediately more valuable than Burrow. He's going to jump him. It depends how confident you want to be in a rookie profile. Personally, I'm not at all confident in rookie profiles for quarterbacks. So, yeah, sure, Burrow. But, I mean, if you have strong confidence in whatever his name is, then you should be thinking that way because quicker is better. I don't. So, like Caleb Williams, wasn't it? Yeah, he's just a big shrug to me. But I think now would be a good time to make that kind of move in your ranks or in your personal evaluation. Not that you have to value it this way. So you could have more Murray, Williams, because the upside's worth it. Personally, I don't have that confidence in quarterback evaluation, but yeah, now's the time to do it if you get it.
But you don't have to, because
you don't have to.
The 101. So like if you get the 101 now, so this is December, January, February, March, April, like the next 5-6 months, it's gonna keep going up.
And it's gonna be trade. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, if you could get that trade right now, even with a little confidence in your profile, I think it's a really good move right now. You'd be earlier than everyone else. You could corner the Caleb Williams market. It's a good idea.
I mean, I don't think you're early. Like, I honestly think Caleb Williams walks in as a first-round startup pick. I don't think, like, this is Bijan. He doesn't. Yeah,
but it's earlier than you, and you're very good. So I'm assuming they're jumping a lot of players. Like, you currently would still have Burrow over him. I'm just saying we're getting. Like, if it works out, you too will be like, Caleb Williams belongs in that tier by the time that you know. So you're just getting there a little early if it works out. It's risky because, like you say, Burrow's very good, and he's certainly more likely to be there. But if you CJ Stroud's next year and you do it now, it's a little easier to get done. It's just, that's what I mean by early, not like no one knows. But a very good player like yourself would be rightly thinking, this is a really good trade for me for the 101. I get Burrow. But both you won't do that by the time if Williams did something like what Stroud's doing. You see what I mean by, like, I'm not trying to.
No, I know. I get it. And the real truth is they are both so value insulated. Doesn't really matter.
Fair. Okay.
Burrow's value is going to go up when people see he's healthy again.
Actually,
the 101's going to go up every second that time passes. Like, it really comes down to what kind of league you're in. Do they value picks that much, or will they value the player that they've seen more? And of course, you're going to end up being in a league that's half and half. But whatever. But that's really what it is. It comes down to your league in which you think will be worth more. If we're talking pure value standpoint, if I'm talking who do I want right now, Caleb Williams on an unknown team or Joe Burrow on the Bengals, I'm taking Joe Burrow on the Bengals.
I mean, but that's a good point.
Thankfully, we don't have to solidify anything right now. So that's why I'm taking it from a value standpoint, in which it's a little more boring because the answer is whatever makes you happy.
I do like finding just not a lot, but a few little plays. Like I'll put Laporta in tier 1 at tight end, just to be aggressive on that potential elite upside. And if I had any confidence, I think that would be one. I like the idea. But it comes down to if you want to be aggressive with your quarterback evaluation, now's a really good time to be doing it, I think. With the 101, only like someone that you think Andrew Luck's certain kind of a thing.
It's always a lot of fun to have the guts to plant your flag and then be right. And
just do it really
pretty safe.
Selective. So I like the move, but that's what you're going to have to ask yourself, Gavin. Like, how much confidence do I want to? Because he has to do some. I mean, to Zach's point, you've got months here where the value is insulated. To Russ's point as well. But I would hold until the season's. That if I made the trade, that's the way I'd be making it. I mean, you might just find like an excellent trade before then, and that would be a nice bonus. But I'd make it only if I had the confidence to keep holding him till he is suddenly in that elite tier. And then maybe get a plus on a Burrow-esque quarterback for Williams later. Grimley, 1-3-1-4. 12-team PPR to flex best ball. Team is 9-4. Third, points 4. 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, 5 flex. So deep. I said that weird. QB room is Lamar to ABD.
And K1.
Oh, that's...
Who's K1? Oh, yeah, Kyler. Good. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Nice. I would not have figured that out.
I just went with the first name that came to my head. Quarterback K. Kyler Murray, obviously. I wonder if I should trade one of them for 2 or 3 depth places, running backs, wide receiver. No. Stocking up elite QBs this way for me isn't about you only trading them if you need to rebuild the team. That's the way I would look at it. Like if you're rebuilding and then it's not just one, it's whatever's the best trade that I can get. Like I only liquidate those top 5 quarterback values when I'm rebuilding and just blowing the team up kind of a thing. But it's an option, if you want to diversify your risk. Personally, I think quarterbacks are a little more certain, a little more solid. The value and the risk is a little more insulated over the long term. They have the longest career, the most certain projections, stuff like that. And so I just keep them until I'm rebuilding. But
yeah, so and kind of a similar thing where I don't want to part out my quarterbacks. If I'm trading a quarterback, I want to get a hammer. Like I want to go get a running back plus something or a wide receiver plus something, because quarterbacks are in a super flex, especially the ones you have listed with
especially
Lamar,
these ones,
and
yeah.
Kyler Murray. Yeah, like they're up at the top of a draft, a top of an ADP, a top of a rankings. And so you should be able to, instead of getting 2 or 3 depth pieces, that's not what I want. I want starter, like plus starter, and then a piece.
Yeah. It's the lower tier quarterbacks that I'm always interested in just moving off, looking for upside in different places. But that the quarterbacks you're talking about, no, I'm just holding until I'm building.
Everything Zach said was exactly what I was going to say. The point of keeping away 3 of those quarterbacks is for trading for something to change your team, not for dead pieces.
Very good point. How do you feel about Devontae's production with Goddard coming back?
Don't care. He's fine.
Pretty good. I think Goddard, if he does well, is going to improve the team, which improves the opportunity.
But
I'm not.
We have years of seeing Devonta and Goddard on the field together, and Devonta's been awesome. So I'm not. And if Ertz comes to Philly, it will be mostly pageantry. Like he's not going to be stealing. He's not going to be stealing targets from anyone. Like it would be great for him to come back, just because Ertz back in Philly. That's all it really is. Like he'll be a backup. Yeah. He'll be a second string tight end. Like no, not worried at all.
Not even a little bit. Would you send Laporta for Pitts in 2 seconds? No.
If it was a first, I would start thinking differently, but 2 seconds now.
Yeah. I would send a screenshot of the trade to John Bosch and Bob.
Yeah,
outside of that,
and John Bosch. Yeah, see what they say and watch them. Like
I just be like, hey, look at this thing I'm about to reject.
The breath leave their body. Yeah, no.
And Chase, CD, and JJ in the same tier. Justin Jefferson and Chase are in the same tier. CD is still in that second tier with some others like Waddle for me.
CD is playing like he belongs there, but he's still 3. Like he and AJ Brown make up like a tier of themselves. Like
I would still have Amon-Ra above CD Lamb.
I don't. Especially especially if you play half PPR, like that really devalues Amon-Ra for me. But like CD, like it's Chase and Jefferson are 1 tier, AJ Brown and CD Lamb are another tier, and then you hit the Amon-Ra's, Waddles, Tyreeks, and those guys. Wait, what was the actual? Oh, that we're just talking about the first part. We didn't read the rest of it.
We did not.
Honestly, I've been saying this for a lot of things, but like 3 games into next season, if CD Lamb is still crushing it, then yeah, move him up. But like we have seen different Cowboys teams for portions of seasons that I need to see them do this for longer. And it's funny because it's not like even the main players haven't turned over. Dak and CD Lamb have been together for 3 years at this point, but they have such waves of production that it's like,
Well, but also Dak has been injured like 2.5 out of the last 4 years. Like it hasn't been it hasn't been as consistent as
that may be what it is then
you have in your head. I mean, we're not that far removed from DiNucci. So
I forgot about the Nooch.
A lot of Nooch.
Shimmy. 12 team Superflex start 15. Get T. Higgins.
Yes.
Russ says yes. Elijah Moore, Chris. It's in the script. Chris Rodriguez. Give Zach Charbonnet, Keontae Mitchell, Aiden. Oh my God. Yes. Just take the T. Higgins side. What the hell is this trade?
Question. Who's Chris Rodriguez?
Don't care. But he's a running back. He was drafted this year, I think. Yeah. Or undrafted this year.
I've never heard that name before. This is when it sucks to. Does that say start 15?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Besides the point, I got very distracted. This is one of those times where it sucks having a podcast or 6. Everyone knows my feelings. So I can't get T. Higgins at these prices, but this is what he's going for, and it's ridiculous. But I go to try and get from him. He's like, no, like a first and a second and nothing less. It's just like, well, yeah, that to me should be his price, but I'm not supposed to be paying his real price right now. Like he's bad, right? Like he's terrible. He's not really, really good and going to end up on a really, really good team after the season. Freaking Addison Hayes has ruined me. I was so happy thinking of T. Higgins going to the Panthers, link him up with another nice young quarterback who I do still believe in Bryce Young very much. And I love the idea of my Ridley 0 with the green and Higgins 5 with the blue. But then he's like, well, the Texans have like the 3rd most cap space. And I'm like, you shut your mouth. Oh my God. Higgins across from Tank Dell catching the ball from CJ Stroud. I might just become a Texans fan at that point. Like, unless the real dream is for him to go to Jacksonville and end up on the same team as Calvin Ridley, in which case I might just move to Jacksonville. No, I won't. I was just kidding. But
yeah, if you're not winning and you have anyone like Eckler or Swift or I don't know, Devontae Adams, like I'd be targeting T. Higgins pretty heavily. Like I'm going to send some T. Higgins trades.
It's pretty much worst case scenario. He stays on the Bengals.
Oh no. I think it's close with CD getting 3 carries, 17 targets, and the 2024 MVP. Everyone's getting the MVP according to my Twitter timeline. And yeah, I think CD's going to be higher ranked. I think he's going to be higher valued. But that's why I get to prefer Amon-Ra. I think it should be similar. CD should get the edge. Don't get me wrong. He should be higher. But I'll take whatever small plus you want to give me with Amon-Ra to get Amon-Ra for CD. That's all I mean by my rank.
Yeah, I love what is happening right now. This is almost like combine season. We've held CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver 4 for so long because we knew what he can do. We never let him drop. We held him up there because we knew what he can do. And now that he's doing it, we're trying to raise him. It's like, no. We held him there because we knew. And now we know. But we don't raise him for that. We don't double count that we know he's really good. Like he belongs in that top, in that second tier because he's still not Jefferson or Chase right now. But like he was wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4 for so many people, and he still just belongs there because Denny Green, he is who we thought he was. Like this is it. This is what we wanted. And this was one of those few times where holding our stance paid off. Like it was right.
I was asked once during his rookie year, or it was actually his sophomore year, like who was the best wide receiver profile I'd ever come across college. And it's Calvin Johnson. But outside of that, since I've been doing it, the players to come out, and I said CeeDee Lamb was probably the cleanest and best. And I got some flack for that. But that's what I remember right now.
You're talking coming out of that class?
Yeah, I thought it was really clean, just clearly elite kind of player. Not elite player, that's different, but yeah.
I had Lamb graded what it was like half a point or a point ahead of
I think we
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Like, and for me to put anybody ahead of Jefferson coming out of that class is like they are two of the top 3 receivers that I've ever film graded.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see him come to this point, rather.
Yeah.
Jazz Fresh, just hit my lunch break. Thanks for the feedback. No problem, Jazz. Have a good lunch. Had I not made that Taylor trade, I would have lost. That's always feeling clutch, you know? I've always said you're clutch. I was playing the owner I traded with and secured me a playoff spot. They are mad.
Playing 3-dimensional chess.
There is someone.
By the way, I asked last week because I was never sure, but JAS is Jazz, as in short for Jasmine.
That's why I've been saying it. I'm not sure.
I asked because I'm like, look, this could be pronounced like 5 different ways, and I'm insanely insecure, and I don't like screwing up people's name. So she let me know. So yes, just wanted to put that out there.
So it is Jazz, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it right by luck, but I'm glad for that.
Doesn't matter. Right.
That CMC trade, I got Bijan, Connor, Aaron Jones, Zeke, and now Monty.
I'm confused. Oh, trading away Christian McCaffrey for Olave and Zeke. Gavin saying now after that trade. Oh man, like you gave up just rolling out Bijan and Christian McCaffrey. That's all I see.
That's what. Yeah, that's still all I see.
If Aaron Jones was healthy and still playing well, I'd feel a lot better about it. But man, like you're not sad for having Olave on your team. Like he's good. He will be good for a while. But man, like trading away CMC on a competing team just is outside my realm of comfort.
No, I did not like that. But if you like your team a lot more, that's
as long as you're happy.
The Kamara trade I should have made before because I own the Kamara managers. First round, they won their match because of Kamara. Nice. Projected 1.02.
Oh, never give good players to people you have there first.
Right? Well, I don't know. I mean,
I have absolutely sent other, like if I'm rebuilding and I have other teams firsts, I will send some of my other draft picks to that team to get players off of their team to make their picks worse. I have absolutely done that this season.
I think you've done that to me.
No, I just do. I don't have your first. I just do that in general to make your team worse.
You've had my first numerous times. I'm pretty sure you've done it.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds like a kind of thing I'd completely not notice.
Russ has my first in like every league we're in together.
Except for that one time where you had my first and then it turned into the 101. And then I later traded for
then you got it back.
Oh, the fun we have. Toronto Dave, 12 teams who flex PPR. Tank Dell or Nico Collins plus a 25-second. Appreciate you all. Tank Dell. No hesitation.
How high are you? I think I might be putting myself too high on Tank Dell, but he's without trying a top 15 wide receiver to me. I don't care about him missing this time. I don't care that he's 24 years old already. Like, he came in and showed everyone what he is. He did it for 3/4 of a season and on a team that should not be doing that. I am here for it. I get that Nico Collins is scoring points right now and you're getting pick on top of it. So honestly, it's not the worst. Like if you are competing and you had Tank Dell, it was just a nice surprise, but now you still want those points. You're going to get a lot of points out of Nico Collins. I'm worried that Nico Collins is that level of good that will still get him replaced because there are a lot of very, 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 very good, very, very big wide receivers coming in this year. And that doesn't worry Tank Dell at all.
I was going to make a video about this, but I got busy this week doing things. The problem, if there is such a problem with a Nico Collins-like breakout, it's like a Cortland Sutton thing. Those unusual breakouts, those after the first, second-year breakouts when most happen. Third-year breakouts. Nico Collins doing fantastic this year. And their value doesn't really increase the same rate as those earlier breakouts because it's too ingrained in us. Whether we know it empirically or we just know it empirically or intuitively. we know to expect less from later breakouts. So even if he keeps being pretty good, the value increase will be there, but nowhere near like a Tank Dell increase is going to be this offseason proportionally, or like a Jefferson was or CD Lamb was after his rookie year breakout. Like, it's always just a little bit of a question because we know they fall off a little bit more often. And they do, because they do, honestly. The third year out of nowhere, not out of nowhere breakouts, he's causing it. And it is usually, by the way, coupled with a drastic situation change, like getting Stroud in the draft. And their ceilings are just a little bit more muted. And even if they're not, even if he keeps putting up 15 points per game, his value is less likely to never show the type of exponential increase younger wide or earlier in their career wide receivers do. And so it's not quite all it's cracked up to be from a dynasty perspective. It's actually really interesting. Like, you can look for value on them, those third year breakouts, because they do come from more often from nowhere, or relatively not having huge breakouts year 1 and 2, but their value is also muted after that point. And let me try and sum it in a Zach Reed type way. The more a points proposition. If you're trading for Nico Collins, it's because you want to start him this week. He's never going to keep up with Tank Dell's value. That's it. The second doesn't do it.
All right, fellas, it is my bedtime. It's been fun. I got to go.
Okay.
Good night, Russ.
Nice to see you. Shimmy, Peter has that David Bowie. Oh, yeah, I know. I need a haircut. Leave me alone. I'll get that done just as soon as I get, anything else I have to accomplish done. I promise. D Magoon, 10 teams who flex start 11 PPR. Not competing, so I traded Herbert, Kupp, Kamara, Ingram for Burrow, Ken Walker, Rashee Rice, and 25 second. Thoughts on that deal? I think I like Herbert and Ingram. Those are my favorite two pieces here. But Burrow and Rice is pretty nice. It just feels that rhyme. Feels like sideways. Herbert should be above Burrow, and you got Burrow. Rice is really interesting, but like so's Ingram as a interesting tight end, and they're both kind of mid. Well, Rice's early career, Ingram's mid along a career. Walker doesn't interest me because he's a running back. Like, it just feels kind of sideways, and I'd rather have Herbert because he's the shiniest thing in the deal to me. It's fine.
But I think the thing, though, Peter, is if you're trading Herbert to get Burrow, yes, to us, Herbert's a step up, but you're also not getting points from Burrow. True. So very potentially good. you get a better pick. The same thing with Walker being injured because you're not getting Kamara's points, but you're getting Walker and you're going forward. Right. I don't mind this. I would like that second to be a 24 second or a first like that, but it's not a bad trade. And I understand the theory. Like, I'm with you. I want Herbert, but I understand the idea of getting Burrow and Walker, who are not scoring you points, assuming you have your own first.
That's true. That's an extra element on it, especially if you add that in your head. You're like, I'm doing this to score less points to improve my pick. That does add a little bit on the trade. That's a good thought. Good point. Gavin, I appreciate the self-deprecation, Pete. It's honestly just me being honest. Self-description more than self-deprecation, but that's fine. But you don't suck at this. Yes, I do. It's relative, no one's good at this. That's honestly the way to look at fantasy. We're bad at predicting the future. You're trying to do less bad. That's honestly the way I phrase it, not just self-deprecation, but also, partly that. But I appreciate you saying so, Gavin. I love the Crossroads and always love hearing you guys' opinions via the DAT network and X. It's X at Russ. I still say Twitter, too.
It's still Twitter.
I really appreciate you, Gavin. And I know my self-deprecation can get annoying, but it's honestly a feature of the way I speak. But with fantasy football in particular, I think it helps. I honestly do think it's good to come from that perspective. One, it insulates you from the defeats. You put in so much work, and then JSN struggles, and Tank Dell goes off, and you're like, man. But it's honestly just difficult. I think the best in the world at this suck. It's like, honestly, it's a weird comparison, but it's like chess. Like, if you look at the best players, Magnus Carlsen and whoever, versus computers, humans suck at this. We just suck at this, but you're trying to do less bad. And I think that's the right way to come from it. It's not just an annoying tick of mine. Thank you very much, though, Garen. Howdy's heroes. Been a long time. Love the grind. Thanks for the discussion and analysis. All aboard the A train. Oh, sorry, the A-Chan train, right? For the players. Yeah, man, he's back, I guess. 2 touchdowns a week. It seems to be his regular thing. Laporta, Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson, Pitts, Kittle. You got Pitts, so you automatically fail. Like, thanks for playing, but you failed. It's fine, Bob. No, I appreciate you. It's still interesting, to be fair. He's still got all the routes. They're just so empty in that offense. Their offense is empty. The offense has nothing in its pants. Not even a Jonnu Smith. Gavin Ferguson, do you guys rank tight ends or running backs similarly in the sense of smaller windows? What you can do for me now? I think there's some similarities to the value arcs, but tight ends play for longer and almost never hit the ceilings. But at the opposite end, I think Kelsey is better than CMC in some ways in Dynasty because of the length of the value and the value arc. But you're getting into such a minute detail there. They're both above the line in this very elite category, so it's almost no difference. I think it's an interesting comparison when you're thinking about Dynasty value and their career arcs. Outside of that, the positions aren't too similar. Just because the scoring is nothing similar. Zach, what do you think of that? Tight ends similar to running backs in terms of ranks because of the windows you get on them.
Well, and so also not only it's not only the windows, but it's the distance between Kelsey and the season or two that we've seen from Andrews, where they just like it. It's kind of like, hey, we still have CMC ranked as the running back 3. Like it's that same, and the reason why we talked about Kamara being such a value at the beginning of the year, because he was one of the 4 or 5 running backs that has potential to score that way. Well, there are 2 right now, tight ends, who have the potential to score that way. Right. And so to me, you have to continue to rank them high.
I think that's interesting. I was going to say like Schultz. The thing about tight end is when they do good stretches, you can they're more reliant in doing that again at some point. But that's not even true. Look at Gus Edwards this year, or Khalil Herbert. When they got opportunities, running backs do that too. I find myself more confident in the later rounds with tight ends, looking for a Dalton Schultz or an Evan Ingram. And that's probably because I feel like there's just more Jerome Fords and Khalil Herberts and Gus Edwards. There's just more in the running back market, and there's fewer tight ends. And so I do find focusing that position the later it gets, because everyone's running to running backs. We know to do that. Like most players are pretty good, and they know running back value. You want to roster running backs on the back end of your bench. So sometimes I find tight ends a little more to switch to, but you're right. There's a lot of shadowing. It's not similarity. There's shadowing to the themes. I like that. That's a good idea. Unfortunately, Russ isn't here, so you're stuck with our thoughts, but thank you. A to Z, in a 12-team Superflex start 10, we're stashing Gibson. Yeah, he was in. Yeah, that was an interesting week. I don't have a lot of hope for it, but it was definitely worth rostering. In a 12-team start 10, yeah, you should probably roster him if you can. Yeah. Did you manage to watch that or know anything about it? Because that was the first I knew about him. I was like, okay, that's it's like 20% of the routes all of a sudden. And he's had over 16 for the last 4 weeks or so. It's interesting. But, Gavin Ferguson, Hawkinson is my Dynasty tight end 1, then Laporta. Less than 4 years of age difference. Not really about the age difference for me, but I appreciate you. Andrews, Kelsey, Ferguson, Cowboys fan. There you go. I like it. If you couldn't tell. No, I've been really happy with what Ferguson's done this year. He was deep into my select 4 or 5, 6 tight ends I was targeting, but he was on the list, luckily enough, because he's been a great snag if you manage to get him. I think I was on a Jen. What's her last name? I forget. Jen. Jen Smith. She reports for someone now. I forget. I was on a podcast and she was on it, and he was really, really highlighting Ferguson on the Cowboys, which made me remember to like him, to be honest with you. Shout out. Omit me. Huh?
Because you said if you couldn't tell me.
If you could. Yeah. I didn't even read that bit. We're good, Gavin. Laporta, easily top 5, if not top tier. Enter the Power 4. Is there anything in Dynasty, in a Dynasty League more harrowing than a must-win game to make the playoffs when you don't have your own first for next year? No. The sudden death playoff schedule is part of the high variance. I mean, I'd say I hate it, but it's why everyone has a chance if you get to the playoffs, and it's a serious element to how to play the game. Like, otherwise, it would just... I kind of like the variance. I still kind of like it, even though, technically it makes, sometimes the best teams lose. But that gives other teams something to play for in my mind. So I like it. Bortles! Whenever I hear that, I always think of
Bobby.
Well, yeah, Bobby Koch, but also the TV show. Names just jumped out my head. Welcome, everything is fine is a catchphrase. The Good Place, which you probably didn't watch, but that's what it always makes me think of. Howdy's Heroes, which I think is J Mike. I think this is J Mike trying not to let me feel good by knowing he's still paying attention. But I appreciate it. Okay, while we're on the subject of T. Higgins, I just traded him, AJ Dillon, on a 25 first round pick. I'm currently first in my 10-man league so far this season for Drake London and a 25 first round pick from the 4th worst team on my league. But it is 2 years out, so it's a little hard to know if he'll be the 4th worst in that year, but I get the logic. He has JJ, CD, DK, so I thought I could take a lateral, maybe, move at wide receiver while upgrading draft stock. What do you all think? I think London's upside is Higgins, but you did get... I think London's more risky than Higgins, to put it in plain terms, but you are trying to take that risk on for an almost certain improvement. And you also... what I like on a running roster is moving your picks further out, because you don't necessarily need to be making picks so much when you've got a lot of good young players. So I don't mind targeting picks out. So if your team tanks, you've already kind of started your stock rebuild in a couple years, or you can keep moving them and rolling them over. So yeah, I like the trade in general. I think you've taken on a little bit more risk because I just think Higgins is better than London's upside. But I get the idea. What do you think, Zach? T. Higgins and a late first this year, presumably for London, and presumably an earlier first 2 years from there.
Oh, I'd rather have the first this year, and I would rather have Higgins than London. So let's go with the Higgins side.
There we go. Since Chase's rookie year, CD leads in targets, receiving yards, and this is where we start with the I think Chase is far superior.
Do we want?
That's not saying much.
Do we want to do that? Because I want to go from Jarvis Landry's second year to his 5th year, and just that period of time.
Yeah. CD Lamb's doing very, very well, and he should be very, very happy. But this is clearly a down year for the Bengals, and that's what's mostly leading to this looking like a fairer comparison. Just fresh. Yes, Russ, I attempted to make their team worse, but did it too late. I thought Moss would have a bigger game, so I made the trade after the game. Now I have Kamara as well. Oh, well. Well, you tried. You make the best moves you can. I kind of like the logic behind it. The Tank Dell injury is just crushing. I am very upset about that one. He was ranked 67th in Underdog Best Ball Mania 4. Now I'm dust. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry, man. Yes, 2023 did start to look like a less good year the minute that happened. But hopefully, well, he will get back healthy, and we'll enjoy him for a few years yet. Was winning 3K. Now I don't even want to look. Oh, it's painful. Sorry. Drafted that team in May when very few were drafting Stroud and Dell together. That was a savvy move. Yeah. I remember this offseason, I think it was in a video, I realized half my takes put me heavily in Dallas and Houston. And at the time, I was like, man, it seems risky to have half my takes like based on Houston having a great season. And that made me nervous. I didn't like, so Stroud's going to be great. I was really nervous about it. And now it just looks good. At the time, it was just coincidence. But Stroud has done a really good job. He's pulled a lot of things together. 12-team start 8 Superflex moving to 12-team start 9 Superflex with a defense next season. 4 teams projected to tie for last place. Shouldn't happen, but anti-tank rules or let it play. I think you have to go with the rules you have in place. If you need to, if you're asking, do I change the rules? Then the only way to do that is in the off season after it's all set with a rankings change for the following season. You have to go with what's on the books right now. I think that's.
Yeah, I mean that's why you have the bylaws, so you can.
It's something to bring up.
Yeah,
maybe change. James took it. Also, if teams tie last place, what's a better tiebreaker for first pick? Points against, least points for. Random?
Height.
You could make it fun. Something random. Have a horse race. Or
do the 100
game out of it, I guess.
100-yard rush. There's a website, and that's what like Scott Fish and Russ and Bob, when they do giveaways, when they do Scott Fish Bowl entries, they do a bunch of those. I mean,
otherwise, if I had to choose a stat, I'd probably go for least points rather than just a random thing. That seems fair. The team that's capable of scoring the least amount of points.
A lot of leagues use potential points, so it's like
yeah. That'd be a way of looking at it. D. Magoon, Herbert Burrow deal. My thoughts were to get out a bit early rather than a bit late on other pieces. Reset with some use. Sideways for Burrow. Yeah, I understand it. James Tucker, in the offseason, will CJ Stroud and Nico Collins be sell high? Stroud will not be. Stroud will be one of those few, except like I want to be, if there's any way to be slightly higher than consensus, I'm going to try and do that. And like with the Laporta thing, I think there's a window here for a lead upside. And if I find it anywhere in any small amount, I'll try and jump on it. Collins, like I say, I think maybe, but it really depends on your league mate. Collins should be considered pretty successful and be a pretty good points bet for the future. But I don't think the values is going to rise. So you're going to have to play your league mates. If they love him because he's tall, then he's probably a sell high. If they're like, oh, no, this was weird, and they'll add someone in the draft, then he may be potentially a buy for good rosters, or at least a hold. I think that's going to be very individual league. I think the ADP or the off-season value is going to be more muted than you'd expect. It's going to make him look like a buy, put it that way. But that's just projecting out. For competing teams, yeah, and you would have to think your roster is pretty good to go in for it. But I think he could go either way, depending on the league. Mark Andrews can't be a leader on a fantasy team. Yeah. Changed my mind, but that might just be the tight end position. I mean, broadly it is, but Mark Andrews, Kittle, Kelsey, now Laporta, and kind of Hawkinson. You're just looking for that upside, and you just want to keep it in mind. I find just remembering who's good, especially at a certain level of production, can have remarkable effects, especially when there's injuries or there's slightly, like T. Higgins right now, just remembering that he's pretty good. You don't have to go too hot takey to find yourself accruing all these great players in just low windows. And Mark Andrews is in one. T. Higgins is in one right now. Kyler Murray was in one all off season, and that feels pretty good for us right now. CD Lamb, his value dropped this off season. But just remembering they're pretty good can help you out a lot. In playoffs, Purdy is my QB4 and a Superflex. Give him for Adams and an early third. Looking for a smash wide receiver for this year and next. I don't think it's Adams.
No.
I think Stephon Diggs might be available in the same category. I'd much rather have him for a smash wide receiver right now. Sheeny Lamb's way too high a value to compare in this. Mari Cooper. No, that's not really a smash, but it's pretty good. Yeah, I think Diggs. Yeah. Adams just isn't someone I'm looking to accrue, even on a contender. Like, I think it's a losing proposition. I'm not as certain of his points on a week-to-week basis right now this year. All right. Nice idea, though. James Tucker traded my Mark Andrews for Jameson Williams. No, sell Jameson. Don't be the guy buying Jameson Williams and Noah Brown. Come on, man. And a 26 second at the trade deadline. Well, I'm happy you're making moves, but I think you plumb lost that one, personally. Should have gotten a good running back looking back. Yeah, instead, switch the position instead of trying to get the dynamo position of Dynasty. People love wide receivers. Get a better running back than this pile of wide receiver in a second. Start 8, 12 teams, especially in a start 8. It's a 12 team, but still, that's more of a stud dud league. And I think that's easily Andrew's side for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, Jameson Williams had a good week.
I do run on. It's good that sometimes you've got brevity, and I'll just yak. I've been here for 2 weeks. Leave me alone. I like talking.
The brevity is the soul of wit, so I shall be brief. And then Polonius goes on for the next 4 pages. Yeah,
I take your word for it, smart guy. Josh M. Love Andrews, but he's felt inconsistent throughout his career. I mean, they were saying about that. They're inconsistent till they're not. There's no consistency whenever it exists. Is just something to enjoy and never expect it again. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown is a model of consistency this year, but he's not a more consistent point scorer than any other wide receiver in his tier. Like it's usually not so much a myth. It exists for short spurts and then it disappears and people think they're bad all of a sudden, but then they play well again. That's almost how these windows get created in terms of production. Like enjoy it when it's there, but don't hunt consistency because I don't think it's a stable element. like uranium or something. It's got a half-life and it disappears pretty quickly. And if you chase it, you just end up irradiated. Yeah, I like the way I pulled that together. I could definitely see why people have Laporta over him. Especially if you're targeting youth, like that trade earlier where you both favored, Russ and Zach both favored Kincaid over DJ Moore. There's an element to the fact that just makes sense. That's where the value is. There's probably a few more years there. So yeah, I get it from that perspective. But at tight end, I'm not worried about only having 5 years left of Andrews with that elite potential versus Laporta. If I'm not pure building or getting a plus on the Andrews side for that youth, I think I'll just take the upside without having to give extra to get Laporta. But if I have Laporta at the same time, I'm not trading straight for Andrews either. That's why I'm putting them in that tier with Kelsey and Andrews for me. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Frank N. Are you guys panicking on the Chargers yet? Yeah, it's looking pretty bad, but I've enjoyed Keenan Allen this year. He got knocked up, I think, last week, but I think he's back to being healthy again. They are getting worse, not better. It's like the Bengals. Like, I'm sure there's reasons for it. I'm not going to pretend to understand football to such a high degree or meta level. But I think that team's got too many good players to keep struggling. Keenan Allen's getting older. He might not be part of the better year at some point. But it's like Hopkins. It's just better to assume they'll be part of a much better team next year. And they're going to have to go get some more youth to build for the future as well. But yeah, they've had a bad year. It's pretty clear. I don't think I'm lower on Herbert. If he's in a buy window, I'll go get Herbert. Eckler's been banged up and still managed to be pretty good the last few weeks. I think he's going to be really strong to close out the season, even banged up. He's got a great schedule and he's still getting that volume. And Mike Williams got injured. Yeah, they have some work to do in terms of the roster for the long term, but I think even with the current team, they should be doing better this time next year, if you know what I mean.
But and a lot of what they have done to lose games, like the Chargers, they are unbelievable at the end of games, and
they are cursed.
Yeah. Well, no, that and the decision making by the coaching staff sometimes is questionable, and so if you add all those like random chance pieces of luck, and then you also kind of manufacture your own bad luck, it's
right.
hard.
Yeah. For a while there, it seemed like there was something wrong with the medical staff on that team. Not that I know anything about them, but there was constant weird and career-ending injuries. I think I don't know. Some teams just got that juju. I think they'll bounce back. Aiden O'Connell, thoughts on potential to be Raiders QB of the future? I mean, especially with that deeper dive of a quarterback, I will wait till I see it. But I mean, I hope so. Sam Howell maybe, Brock Purdy maybe. Aiden O'Connell seems to be hoping for a little bit too much of the unlikely, but I'm rooting for him. I'd love to see it. Do you know anything more about Aiden O'Connell? What's tape on him?
He's got a sweet mustache. I don't think. Yeah. I mean,
he's never stood out before, so it seems like playing hope fantasy. Like what if? What if he's Dak?
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. Like it would be great to have a quarterback come out of nowhere, and you rostered him and drafted him in the 5th round. You should have done that with Sam Howell a couple of years ago. Then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
That's the thing. Like Howell, Purdy, Dak, even I wasn't there at the time, so I can't say Tom Brady, but definitely Russell Wilson. There's always kind of some buzz. If you're paying enough attention that you're watching us on a random Wednesday night, you've probably heard a decent amount of buzz and know why to like them instead of just imagine before it happens, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't think Connell stand out, but I'm rooting for it. I'd love to see it. Frank M would love a guy like that guy for the Chargers. Not sure if Zach has seen him yet. Abuka. Okay.
I have watched one game so far. I have watched the 2022 Notre Dame game of Emeka Ibuka, but I'm starting on my journey with the 24 class.
I actually have some 24 players, or presumed 24 players, in my database already. I did not even deign to glance at the stats before. Partly because I don't have that last year yet, but no, I don't even know the names. Yep, I got Purdy, Howell, and Aiden. See, I think you would have heard a little bit more about Aiden, but it's quarterback evaluation. I am not going to take a firm stance. And yeah, I want more good players. I'm definitely always rooting for the player, and that's kind of as the max hot take, the max firmness I can come to on a position like that. I don't think so, but anything's possible. Zach, you got anything you want to talk about, mention, say before we get out of here? Because I think
we got to the end.
Woo, I think so. I sped up there after Russ was left. I'm like, I'm out. If I can't. Russ is leaving. What's the point?
No, good luck. We're into the lightning round. We're into the playoffs. Good luck.
Good luck, everyone, and we will see you again, like every week, when some of us deign to show up, when we can pull ourselves away from our too important business. Every Wednesday at 9:30. I'm rooting for you to win. Seriously. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, I just banged my desk. Ignore that.
Look over there.